way of logic is going step by step, collecting information, analyzing, segregating, conclusion. Eastern way, first conclusion, then we will analyze and understand. That is the reason absolute truths are declared only in the East. West, truth is always ephemeral. Any moment it can change. In the East, truth is ultimate, absolute and nitya. That is why in the East, people are more settled because they are seeing something solid. In the West, the more you become intellectual, only you become more stressed. You more fall into the depression. The more you are a philosopher, the more you are a cranky guy. It is very difficult to live with a philosopher, especially Western philosophers, because they are not at all alive. They live in their own way. They live in their own head. They never come down. Even two waves cannot bring them down to the planet Earth. They are totally away from the reality. They live in their own world. They live totally in the head. They don't come down to the reality. Philosophy, the Western logical system, makes you more and more away from the life, away from the truth. Eastern mysticism brings you more and more closer to the life, more and more closer to the reality. Because here we see the whole thing in one flash of lightning. That is what we call enlightenment. Enlightening light. There, it is just a lamp. You go around with a small candle. If you go around with a small candle, how long it will take to understand the forest? Here you see the whole thing in a flash of lightning. These are the recordings jotted down by the rishis who have seen the whole forest in one flash of lightning. That is why the very first statement is a conclusion. It is not argument. Any Western philosophical books starts with the question, answer and argument, ends with the conclusion. Any Upanishad starts with the conclusion and then goes into argument and finally ends with the same conclusion. This Upanishad, the first mantra and last mantra is one and the same. First mantra and last mantra is one and the same. If you understand, first mantra is more than enough. If you don't understand, then you can go into the argument and understand when you reach the last mantra. That's the reason the first mantra and the last mantra is kept as a same mantra. The beauty and the good glory of this mantra can never be expressed or explained. I'll try to give you the gist of this meaning. That is whole, and this also is whole, for only the whole is born out of the whole, and when the whole is taken from the whole, behold, the remainder is whole. Again, as I was telling you, let me tell you a small story from a great mathematician of this century, a guy called P.D. Auspersky. How many of you have heard about him? Especially people who are in the field of mathematics, you must have heard about him. Auspersky is a great mathematician of Russia, Russian mathematician, and he himself has become a spiritual person in his latter part of life by going to a master called George Gurdjieff. Anyhow, this guy has written a beautiful book called Tertium Organum, means the third principle. In the book he says, there are only 3 books in the whole world, 3 canon of thoughts. There are only 3 books based on which all the books are written. First book is Principle Organum by Aristotle. Second is Novum Organum, Francis Bacon. Third is Tertium Organum by this person, by the P.D. Auspersky. Auspersky says, except these 3 ways of thinking, there is no other way of thinking in the planet has happened. Only these 3 ways of thinking has happened. Of course, from my understanding, what he says is truth. only 3 ways of thinking has started on this planet Earth. First is Aristotle, Principium Organum. Second is Francis Bacon, Novum Organum. Third is Tertium Organum, P.D. Ouspensky. Ouspensky says a puzzling statement. Next statement. The third book existed before the first. Krishna says in the 9th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, Raja Vidya Raja Rukya Yoga, I have given these signs to the sun, to the Surya and to Manu. Krishna is hardly 40 years old when he told the Bhagavad Gita. And he says, I delivered the same truth to the sun, to the Manu, to all old rishis. Later on it got degraded. Again I am delivering this to you. How can a person who is 40 years old can say, I told the same truth 1000 years ago? If I tell you all, 300 years ago, I myself came down and wrote this Upanishad, will you believe? Can you believe? No, you can't. I am just 27. How can I write this Upanishad 300 years ago? But Krishna says, thousands of years ago, I myself have given the same truth to sun. And P.D. Ouspensky says, before the first book written, third book existed. Little difficult to understand. And then he comes to a conclusion. He says, whatever has been discovered is already existing. It is eternal. We can do only one thing. We can verbalize it, that's all. We can verbalize it. What Newton has done only one thing. He verbalized the law of gravity, that's all. Gravitation force was there. He verbalized it so that every one of us can understand. So, whatever was there, it has been only verbalized. Rishis experienced whatever is there, then they verbalized it. Their verbalization is what we call mantra. Mantra means the words which shows the path for man. Mantrayate iti mantraha. Man means man. Tra means it shows the way. Words which shows the way to the man is mantra. They verbalize the experience. That is what is truth. In the Tertium Organum, Ouspensky says there are two kinds of logic. First logic is a simple arithmetic. 2 plus 2 is 4. 2 plus 2 is 4. All of you know that there is a second logic. 2 plus 2 is 4 plus something. This is a little difficult to understand. 2 plus 2 is 4, all of you know. 2 plus 2 is 4 plus something means how will you understand? For example, 2 plus 2 is 4, all of you know. 2 plus 2 is 4 plus something. How to understand? Understand is one example. There is a beautiful painting. What all is added to the painting? Canvas cloth, then paint, brush. The canvas cloth and the paint and the brush. Can the painting be equated to these three? And one more thing, labor. The labor, 8 hours labor of the painter. Can the painting be equated to a canvas cloth, paint, brush and 8 hours labor? Can it be equated? No. It is something more. A plus B equal to C plus something. 2 plus 2 equal to 4 plus something. So here comes the logic, which is something more than a simple arithmetic. In simple arithmetic, 2 plus 2 is 4. You all know accounts. There is something called higher mathematics, where 2 plus 2 is 4 plus something. Can you say about it? We should imagine there is a poem. There are 10 words in the poem. The poet must have taken 2 hours to write that poem. 2 hours plus 10 words can be equated to a poem? No. 2 hours plus 10 words can never be equated to a poem. canvas cloth, brush, paint and 8 hours labor can never be equal to a painting. So there is a logic where your regular arithmetic does not work, where your regular arithmetic has no place. There is something called higher mathematics. The guy, P.D. Auspansky, has done a great service by introducing this higher mathematics to the world of mathematicians. Einstein has turned whole physics people towards the spirituality. How? I can tell you the next slogan. Next sutra is related to Einstein. Tomorrow I will address about that. Freud has turned the whole psychologist towards the mysticism by working on the dreams. The P.D. Auspansky has turned the whole mathematicians towards the Eastern spirituality, Eastern wisdom by bringing the higher mathematics. He calls it as higher mathematics. First thing he says, simple arithmetic, 2 plus 2 is 4. Second thing he says, higher mathematics, 2 plus 2 is something, 4 plus something. So this higher mathematics, if you understand this higher mathematics, then you will be able to understand this sutra. One more example. If you really give your love, do you feel the love is getting reduced? Never. The amount you give, it only grows more and more. How much you give, it only grows. If you feel something is disappearing, be very clear you are not giving love. If you feel after giving the love that something is missing in you, you are not giving love. You are measuring it in the language of dollar and pounds. You are measuring it in the language of dollar and pounds. You are measuring it in the language of some return. Whenever you expect some return, this can never be love. A small story. Maybe little, not even non-rich, eggish. A small story. A guy was going in the car, was driving through downtown New York. Someone got a girl, picked up, went to the nearby a forest and had a good time. And as he was about to get into the car and move, she asked, my price is $50, give me first that. Yes, no other way, he paid the price. Then he got into the car, she got into the car and asked, what is this? So much of time is over, why don't you go back to downtown? This guy said, I'm a taxi driver, my price is $50, give that. If you measure it with a dollar, it can never be love. If you feel something is missing, I think many of you have not understood the card joke. You missed it. Or due to politeness you are not laughing, I don't know. Anyhow, whether you catch or not, understand this idea. If you feel something is missing, you are not giving love. You are measuring it with a dollar and pounds. If you feel continuously it is flowing, only then it is love. Whenever you share your love, it just grows, grows, grows. Continuously it grows. If you understand this one logic of love, logic of emotion, I call it emotional intelligence. Logic of emotion, the way in which love works. If you understand this one logic of love, you will be able to understand this whole sutra. This sutra does not need your head to understand. This needs your heart to understand. Pythagoras is a guy who created a big philosophy. He went to a mystery school. Mystery school means where the spirituality is taught. He went to a mystery school. Before they took the class, they asked him to do a meditation for 21 days. The headless meditation. If you have done NSP, you know that headless meditation. Visualizing as if you are without head. The guy asked, the Pythagoras is a logical guy. He said, why to learn philosophy? Why should I meditate? Will you allow me to learn? Then I will meditate if I am convinced. Just like this. If I am allowed to attend If I understand, then I will wear the kali clothes. Otherwise, I won't. The guy said, no. The master said, no, you cannot be allowed that way. Either you meditate and come inside, or you don't come inside. This guy said, all right, let me try. He's a little courageous. You need courage to give try anything. Be very clear. If you are not ready to try, don't think you are courageous or intelligent. You are simply a coward. You have no courage to try the things. If you have the courage, try. And people are trying, they are not fools. Surely they are not fools. And the big problem is the young kids. They are not only young kids, the people who think themselves as intellectual, they feel their personality is getting solidified if they say no to the society. If there is a group, if you say no, you stand out. Naturally you feel you are somebody much superior. You are something high. Just to have the deep satisfaction, just to have the satisfaction that I am somebody superior, I am somebody high, we say no to the society. Understand, when you say no, you miss a lot. Anyhow, the Pythagoras was little courageous. The guy was little courageous, he gave a trial. He did the meditation and then entered into the mystery school. After that he says, oh, you have been so compassionate, you made me to do the meditation and then let me in. Otherwise, if I would have come back to inside, I would have become mad to understand all this logic. Without meditation, if you start reading philosophy, no other way you will become mad. I have seen thousands of Vedantins, thousands of sannyasis who are almost mad. Of course, that is why they are locked in the monasteries. They are locked in the monasteries. They are mad. After 40, 45, they become totally depressed. They have entered into a philosophical school, mystery school, without meditation. If you try to understand the sutra with your head, even if you break your head, nothing will understand. You will not understand nothing. You will understand only one thing, you can never understand. If you drop your head and understand the language of art, understand the language of love, the sutra will simply give you the light. Just understand the simple logic. 2 plus 2 is 4 plus something. In painting, in poetry, because heart is added. When the heart is added, no value. Something more. If you give your love, how much you give, again and again, it only comes out. You never miss something. Never. Something gets reduced. If you understand this one logic, how much you give, nothing misses. If you understand that one logic, you will be able to understand the sutra. When the whole is taken from the whole, behold, the remainder is whole. Purnamata Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. When the whole is taken out from the whole, behold, the remainder is whole. Now they prove through the theory of Big Bang and the black hole. From a small atom, the whole universe comes out. The whole universe merges into a small atom. No logic. The whole comes out, but the whole is there. The whole goes back, but the whole is there. Where logic ends, the religion starts. By the sutra, Rishis wants you to drop your head and go into your heart to understand the next steps. That's the only meaning, nothing else. There is something called Zen codes in Zen Buddhism. If you go to a Zen master and ask, Master, I want to become enlightened, they will tell you, go and find out the one hand clapping sound. Sound of the one hand clapping. Come back and tell me. Then you will become enlightened. The guy will sit and think, and then he will tell, oh, maybe when bamboo is beaten by a hand, it's one hand clapping, he will come and tell. Then master will give you a probe. Your hand and bamboo, two things are there. How can this be one hand clapping? Go and find out. Again you will go and find out. One by one you will come and tell the answer, you will get only blows. Finally, when he comes and says, no master, my head is gone. Then master says, the cone is given to you just to drop your head. Just to make you understand, the logic can never let you understand the cone. You cannot understand the world. You cannot understand the spiritual things just by that logic. You need heart to understand the spiritual world. So the masters, Upanishad Rishis, they give you the introduction. They give you the beautiful message. Your logic cannot be let inside. Your logic cannot be allowed inside. Leave your mind where you leave your shoes. That is what is meant by this sutra. So, let you drop your mind to understand